Hey, everyone. Doing a cancer update. It's been probably a week, I think, since I did an update. Today is 7 days post chemo, and a lot has happened today. It's been a little crazy, but really good at the same time. Tons of blessings. And so I wanted to share what's been happening because I have been posting some updates on Facebook. I put a couple updates on the GoFundMe page because Brindy gave me access to it so that I could write updates. It's easier for me to do it, I think, because I'm going through it in real time. But she's still managing all of it. And I'll give a little update on what's going on with the fundraiser and all of that. But before I do, I'm going to ask a favor of you to like the video wherever you're watching it, to comment hello so I know you're watching it, and to engage while I go through this. Hi, Mr. Andy. How are you? It's good to see you. Today is the first day, 7 days post chemo. I've had the energy to do a live and to do a full update and come on video. And there's been a lot of changes. The first one's probably pretty obvious. My hair is falling out massively. Like, hi, Kim, even though we shaved my head, my hair is now like it's falling out. The back of my head is super thin, like there's a hole in the back of my head, which I knew was coming, right? Part of the reason I shaved my head is because it was coming out in clumps, but even the fine little hairs are coming out now. I'm losing more eyelashes. I'm losing more of my eyebrows. Again, like this is all aesthetics and superficial stuff. And I'm just not that concerned with the superficial stuff. While nobody wants to have to go through that kind of stuff, and we worry about our appearance. We spend so much time worrying about our appearance. When you have cancer, it stops being about how you look and it starts being about, am I going to live or am I going to die? And that's just reality. Like, is today a day when I can eat? Is it going to be a better day? Right? And am I going to get through this day? And there's been many days in the last 7 days that I didn't think I could continue yet again. And this last week has been very trying because the first round of chemo wasn't a true marker of how my body was going to handle it, just because I had the stent and complications from the kidney stent. So I don't know that I really recognized a lot of what was happening because I fought that stent for 2 weeks and was super sick and peeing blood and glass and razor blades for 2 solid weeks. So I couldn't really tell how my body was handling that first round of chemo. Well, my second round started, it was done last Wednesday. So I had it Wednesday, Thursday of last week, on the 5th and the 6th. My follow-up, whatever infusion was done on the 6th, and that was take home. Like they attach it to you, inject, and it's an auto-injectable. Thanks, Kim. Kim saying you look fine. Yeah, I don't really care anymore. Like, I'm just at this place where I don't care. If you can see behind me, my 3 wigs came in that I ordered from the TikTok shops, and my daughter Bella is a whiz at wigs because she loves wearing wigs. And she said she has to fix them up. The bangs are too long, and I guess it has to be thinned a little bit and trimmed a little bit. So she's going to work on those this weekend. She's got a little bit of a respiratory infection right now from the poor air quality here. So she's on antibiotics. She stayed home from work again today. I think she's missed like 4 days in the last 2 weeks because of whatever she got, and then it turned into respiratory. So I told her, no big deal. Like, it's too hot to actually wear a wig right now. And honestly, like I said, I don't care. Okay, so chemo Wednesday, I was okay. I was just super tired. Thursday was extremely tired. I slept most of Thursday. And then Friday, fairly nauseous. Everything was just kind of really low energy, achy, lots of pain, slept a ton. But then on Monday, that's when it got really bad. I had no idea, like I said, because round 1, I had the kidney stent, and I was having massive problems from it during the 2 weeks following chemo, my first round, before they finally removed it and things cleared up. But so I didn't know anything about anything, and I was on pretty heavy painkillers at the time. But this time on Monday, like, I woke up at 4:30 in the morning in pain, in tears. I was sicker than a dog. Like, my body aches. My blood pressure dropped out to like 90 over 50 something. My blood sugar tanked, and I literally thought I was dying. Like, I was scared to death. So I had the blood pressure cuff on. I had the oxygen sat thing on. My pulse was really like jumping all over the place. And I wasn't sure what the hell was happening. And I got behind on my pain meds because I couldn't think straight. Like, my emotions were all over the place too. And then on top of it, like I said, my body was hurting like crazy. By 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, my dad brought me into his bedroom, and I sat in his recliner after taking a bath because I went back to sleep for a little while, took a pain pill, went back to sleep, woke up at 8, took a bath to try and get warm because I was sweating or I was freezing. Like, there was no in between. And again, my emotions and my mental state were not good. Like, Monday was a rough day. And I went into his room, and it felt like somebody was pounding nails into my legs, my leg bones, like in the bone. So my dad was trying to massage my legs. He was trying to get me to eat. And I'm just not having any of it. Like, I let him massage my legs. I tried to eat as much as I could, but food was not tasting good. I felt like I was going to throw up. And because everything was so thready, with my blood pressure and my blood sugar, we did finally get it stabilized. He went and bought some orange juice and was able to cook something that I could eat. So everything I know my dad is amazing. He is 83 years old, and he has just been such a blessing. So he babysat me most of Monday. And then when my daughter Brindy, my oldest, came down, my dad had to run to go pick up a prescription because he's got an ear infection, right? So he's had to go to the doctor or to the pharmacy. They messed up his prescription, so he left Brindy in charge, and she came down and she was cooking, her and my granddaughter, and she's like, "Are you okay?" And I was just like, "No." And I went back into his room so that I would be in the house if anything happened. So we were all kind of scared, like, what's happening to my body. But Brindy had been up the night before, so she didn't wake up till really late. And she came in, and I was bawling, like, out loud, out of control, bawling. I could not stop crying. I was in so much pain. And, like, for whatever reason in that moment, and she's like, "Mom, what's going on?" And I told her, and she said, "That's the steroid crash." And I was like, "What?" She said, "That's the prednisone withdrawal." And I missed my dose. They had me on 100 milligrams of prednisone for 5 days following chemo. So day 1 through 5, from day 1 of chemo, for 5 days, I have to take 100 or 120 milligrams of prednisone. No ramp up, no ramp down. Just take it and then cold turkey, cut it off. Now, I've never really had to take any steroids for anything. So again, on the first round of chemo, I was unaware because I was so sick from the stent. So I went through steroid withdrawal, and apparently my daughter had said it's like the worst flu you've ever imagined. Like, your entire body aches. And then one of my friends from Durango commented on my thread that, yeah, had experience with steroids, and it does in fact crash out your blood sugar, your blood pressure. Right. I finally got my blood pressure to stabilize, when we got my blood sugars to stabilize, but it was scary as hell. And nobody warned me about prednisone withdrawal. By Monday night, Tuesday morning, I started to Google prednisone crash symptoms. So I am going to talk to my doctor to see if we can change the dose of the prednisone. With lymphoma, it is standard practice to prescribe prednisone to treat the cancer. and to help with the inflammation from the chemo and the nausea and the vomiting from chemo. So it's standard high cardamom. It is standard practice. They don't ramp you up and they don't ramp you down because it acts as an immunotherapy drug, an inflammation drug. So like I take 3 other meds during chemo week, the 5 days of chemo, and only during those 5 days. Like I have 3 or 4 meds that I only take during the 5 days of chemo to help with all of the symptoms from the chemo. But I wasn't prepared for that. I wasn't prepared. And yeah, Rox is saying they normally wean you off of it. They do normally taper you off, but not with cancer, not with chemo, and not with this application. But like I said, I'm going to see if we can lower the dose. I understand after doing a ton of research why they have me on the prednisone, because it does treat lymphoma type cancers. But it suppresses your immune system too. And here's the thing. Like, chemo weakens your immune system. It kills the good cells, the bad cells. It kills a lot in your body. But that day on Monday, up until that point, like I got apparently Sunday when I had my good day, it was because I had enough prednisone steroid in my body that I had a burst of energy. Sunday was my only good day. And I actually felt good enough to clean my room and do all the things on Sunday and then go float in the pool in the afternoon. And I felt pretty good. And then to have that crash happen on Monday was a horrible thing. I wish that I could, John Jarvis, do a gram of cannabis oil a day. It is illegal in Texas. The only thing we get is Delta 8, and I got some and it made me sick. So it's not an option here. Believe me, I lived in Colorado for 17 years and it helps a ton, but I don't have access to it. And nor am I going to drive to Colorado in my condition right now. So it is what it is. In any case, so I went through the steroid withdrawal all of Monday, partially Tuesday, but at the same time, my liver decided and my lymphs decided to detox the chemo, probably because the steroid was out on day 5 and day 6. No, yes, day 5 and day 6. And when your liver detoxes that yellow acidy chemo, it burns your skin. So on top of everything else, my butt was on fire. I had to use the cream they gave me at the hospital to numb my butt some, but it was horrible. Like Monday was a horrible day. And I spent an hour crying to my dad. I can't do this. I can't keep doing this. There's no way. This is round 2. I have 4 rounds to go. Like nobody is going to convince me that I can finish 4 more rounds of chemo if this is how I have to go through it. Now, once Brindy explained the steroid withdrawal, and she's like, you don't know how bad it could be because you haven't not had the steroids. So like, I know you think it's bad, Mom, but like, you don't know how much worse it could be. You could be vomiting. You could be like so much worse with the inflammation and the pain if you didn't have the steroids. She goes, so is 1 or 2 days withdrawal symptoms worth not taking the steroids? And she's like, and we don't know that your doctor's not, but we are going to talk to the doctor to see if maybe there's something less dramatic, because the mood swing, roid rage is real. Like that mood swing, I literally went from feeling good on Sunday to feeling like I was dying and that I wanted to die on Monday. And it was not a good day. Like Monday was not a good day. By Tuesday, I started to come out of it yesterday. And today is Wednesday. So today's a better day. And like I said, my hair's falling out like crazy. I don't give a rip anymore. I had my port wound cleaned today. I know it looks kind of gross. That's just glue. And she said there's no external stitches. They're all internal. They will dissolve on their own. The glue kind of peeled off from being in the chlorine in the pool. The Dermabond gets eaten away with chlorine. So this one, the glue fell off this morning. The last of the glue came off. And then this one didn't really get any chlorine on it because I had covered it. So she said this glue will just fall off eventually. And she said I can go in the pool. So I'm probably going to go swimming sometime in the next few days. and the chlorine will just evaporate it. It'll just come off. I'm glad I'm talking to the doctor too. And boy, am I glad I got through those 2 days. I literally did not know that I could. It just hit, right? Like I'm usually pretty good about controlling my thoughts and my emotions, but that prednisone crap is like the devil's freaking spirits. It was horrible. And what it does is it helps spike your adrenals. So it acts in your body like cortisol from the research that I did. So stress hormone, it's very similar to the stress hormone, which gives you the energy and the adrenal energy to get through and superpower your way through chemotherapy. But when you're out of it, now you just get dropped on your butt like adrenal fatigue. But on top of the adrenal fatigue, you have the emotional stuff, you have the mental stuff, and then you have the physical withdrawal pain. And I mean, my God, I wouldn't wish it upon anybody. It literally felt like nails were being pounded into my legs. And until the pain meds, which took about 6 hours, until the pain meds fully kicked in, it was horrible. And like I was sweating and then I was freezing and then I was shivering and like my entire neck was sore and tender and it was not a good day, right? And here's my dad battling an ear infection. But today the port got handled. Now the taste of metal has come back with a vengeance. So I was sitting here at like 4:30 and I grabbed a piece of candy because that's what I use is hard candy. I suck on it in order to get rid of that taste. And it was getting close to eating time, which I'll explain in a minute too, because eating is something that takes all day, it seems like. But I bit into this piece of candy and I bit down and I hit something hard and I spit it out onto, because it wasn't, disintegrating like when you bite into a piece of candy. It was hard like tooth. And I spit it out onto a paper towel. And there's part of my tooth. So there's this one right here has a metal filling from when I was a kid. And the enamel around it broke off when I bit into that piece of candy. With chemo, you're not supposed to get dentistry done because of risk of infection, bacteria, blah, 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 blah. But I have a hole in my mouth now with jagged edges. And I'm like, shoot. So I remember Jarrett, my nail guy for my dogs, telling me about his amazing dentist right down the road from us that will work after hours for emergencies. And her clinic actually will open on a Saturday or Sunday if that's the only day you can get dental. And he said she's really reasonable. So I called him, gave me her number, called her. She picked up her phone. It was 10 to 5. I explained, and she said, well, I'm not in the office today. I explained that I was referred to her and told her what was going on. And I said, I'm having chemo. So I'm very afraid of getting an infection. Like, I don't want anything getting in there. What do I need to do? And she said, well, can you come Friday? I said, all right, but what do I need to do until Friday? She said, you know what? Get to my office at 7, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, right? She goes, can you get to my office at 7 p.m. tonight? And I said, absolutely. I don't even care what it costs at this point because now I'm scared. Like, can I eat? Is this going to turn into something? Do I need to call my oncologist? Like all these stupid things you don't worry about if you're not doing chemo. And then I had to do some research on, is it okay? What can they do? What can't they do? And then I was just like, I don't care. Like, she's a dentist. She's been around for long enough. I trust that she will, God's like sending me to the right person. Walk in at 10 to 7. She sits me down and she's amazing. I said, thanks for seeing me. She didn't even have me fill out her paperwork. She just looked at the tooth and she said, you know what? We're going to bond it. We'll fill it real quick, just a little bit of filling, and then we'll polish it. It'll be good to go until you're done with chemo and you can actually have dentistry done. I was like, all right. Still didn't ask her what she charged. Mind you, it is 7 o'clock at night on a Wednesday night. And she came in just for me. Just for me. This is the kind of dentist she is. And kind of human being she is, which is so not seen in the world. It's a rare, rare thing. That's how I operate with my clients, but I don't see it very often, if ever, with any other medical practitioner. Um, Crazy cat lady, sending you prayers. Cancer patient here as well, praying for you to stay positive. We're all here praying. I'm praying for you too. I don't know what kind of cancer you have. You're welcome to put it in the comments, but I will put you up in my prayers, and you're welcome to message me too if you want to chat. Because, yeah, you and I both know this is a ride that emotionally we hold a lot back from our families and friends. And we let it out in the darkness of the night when nobody's looking and nobody can hear. Right. So, anyhow, she fixed it all up and it's all good. She said, I can eat, I can drink. And we were talking and she's filling out at the end. She's filling out all my paperwork. And I'm like amazed at how, like, 30 minutes, she got it all done in 30 minutes. And I asked her because she has an accent and she is so different than most US health practitioners. I said, where are you from? And she said, Belarus. And I love hearing people's stories, right? I just love it. And I said, Belarus, how the heck did you end up in small town Texas? This place from Belarus, right? Which is near Lithuania, Latvia, right? Russia. And she said, well, I won the immigration lottery back in like 2010 or 12 or something like that. And she immigrated to New York and went to school there. And one of the guys that she was in school with moved to our little town. And then 5 of the dentists from several countries, all different countries, actually, because they were all immigrants, all moved to Texas too. And she opened her own practice. He has a practice like 5 miles away from us. And I was just amazed. And then she took my debit card and it was $120. Like, no emergency fee, no after hours BS, no extra try to push anything on me. She literally was there to help. Because that's the profession she's in. And because that's the heart she has. So I know that God directed me right to this woman. And like, there's a saying that this old guy, when I was 18, I used to hang out with this old pro golfer. I was helping him type his book. He's long gone. I mean, I'm 57, right? So his name was Wally Taft. And one of the things Wally taught me when I was 18, he was a multimillionaire. He said, you know what, Bernadette? It's not what you know that makes you successful and happy in life. It's who you know. And I've always listened to that and I believe it. It's who you know. And I believe that your network of people is your net worth. So it's very important to keep good people in your life and keep bad people out of your life, right? Well, Jarrett, the nail guy who I helped change his entire life with biomagnetism. And if you want to search my YouTube videos, he told his whole story, like 3 magnet sessions, completely reversed 10 years of health issues. And they had him on methadone for that whole 10 years, oxycodone and methadone, like crazy. He could barely eat and he was wasting away. So Jarrett is the one that referred me to her. And Jarrett's been an amazing blessing too. Like, Jarrett's been doing my dog nails. This last time, he's like, you're not paying me, Bernadette. Like, you helped me so much. You saved my life. So until you're done with chemo, no charge. And I'm like, no, I don't feel good about that. And he goes, that's your problem. Like, too bad. He's like, I'm going to do the dog's nails and you're not paying me. I've been so blessed through this, and I was terrified going into this and agreeing to chemotherapy with no insurance, right? My insurance, I did get marketplace insurance and a great plan that kicked in on the 1st. But April and May, I had no insurance. I did get approved for the indigent program, but it doesn't cover some of the labs and it doesn't cover doctors and clinicians. So I've had to pay all of that out of pocket. And I'm like, how are we going to do this? My daughter decided to put up a fundraiser. She asked if it would be okay. And I was so sick at the point, I would think I was in the hospital. And then she showed it to me and she goes, well, I did it. And I was like, oh, okay. And it took me a couple weeks coming out of the hospital before I actually even looked at the page and realized, holy crap, people are actually donating. Like, I just didn't really expect much. and we didn't put it high. We put it at 20 grand because we know about how much at the end of this I'm going to end up paying out of pocket. And I mean, I'm blown away. Like right now we're at 8,300. All of that, we're a little under what we need still for the current bills. And I'm still getting bills from back in April. I just got a $1,200 lab bill from my biopsy that I had done on April 24th. So with all the bills we've already paid and what we have left in the account, we're about $600 negative, which is fine. I mean, I'm making payments where I can make payments. I'm paying stuff off if they will give me a big enough discount. But we're staying above water, and I'm not working not nearly what I used to work 14, 16 hours a day, and I'm not. Like, I'm barely working probably 6 hours a week, if that, between just group coaching and my private clients that I've held on to, but I'm not taking new clients or anything like that. So it's been scary for me because I'm watching my business contract and my finances go away. And my dad's like, that's not your concern. My friend Andy's like, not your concern. Your concern is get better. That's your number one job right now. Heal, get better. So it's been challenging, but at the same time, there have been so many blessings, like Jared, like this dentist, like all of you that have donated. I mean, it's crazy. Like, I got a donation from someone that I knew long time ago that I helped with health issues, for $1,000 the other day. That was like, holy crap, God, you deemed me worthy. And I just did not thought I was going to have to start selling stuff off, like my car and furniture and my soul. I don't know. But I put it all in God's hands and just said, I trust you, whatever. I'm sure we'll find a way, And so far, it's been horrible, the experience of my body and my mental and my emotional state. But the blessings are outweighing all of the rest right now. Like the hope that I have that I'm going to get better and that God wants me, like I've got more years left in me, and that God is keeping track of the path I'm on and that I am doing the right thing is phenomenal. Like, just, I don't even know how to describe it. I'm floored every step of the way, even on my bad days. How tender, how compassionate, and how gentle everyone around me is, and everyone in my community is, and how understanding everybody is. And then just these added little bonuses, like a dentist that operates the way I operate is crazy good. Like, I'm blessed. Thanks, Mark Polo. I like your name. That was my favorite game in the pool when I was a kid, was Marco Polo. Marco Polo. Yeah. So I'm good. The tooth is fixed. I have until the 26th is my next run of chemo. So that will be chemo round 3. And then I have a CAT scan. So I have about a week and a half, almost 2 weeks with no chemo. Now, Dad and I were talking, even though I can't afford it right now, about him paying for a high dose vitamin C injection, IV therapy, where they'll come to the house and do it, because I don't want to go anywhere where there's a lot of people in public because I have no immune system. There's what they call mobile IV medics. They'll come and do like high dose vitamin C. And I've been doing the research because the oncologist, I haven't signed up with them yet. They haven't booked my first appointment, but that doesn't mean I have to wait, right? So I would like to ramp my system back up before it gets knocked down again, because things like my tooth enamel, my teeth are breaking, and the other weird changes to my skin and everything else. I would like to get some nutrition and vitamins and help into my body to rebound a little bit before the next round. And what I've read about the high dose vitamin C injections, for any of you that are doing cancer, if you read Jane McClellan's book, and she has a group on Facebook called Off Label Meds, there's a lot of research with the hyperbaric oxygen therapy and high dose vitamin C, as well as off label meds. I'm not doing the off label meds because I don't have a complimentary oncologist on I'm not joined up with them yet for whatever reason. They've not contacted me since May 21st. But I'm still going to do the high dose vitamin C. So my dad's like, figure out who you want to come out. I'll pay for it. But it's something that my doctor, my traditional oncologist has said, yeah, that would probably help you rebound a little bit faster and strengthen your immune system a little bit in between treatments. You might feel a little bit better. I am pretty anemic, and they haven't had to do an iron infusion. We'll see on the 25th if I'm going to need another iron infusion. I'm kind of like, there's some pros to it because you do feel better for a couple of days after, having the iron infusion. But at the same time, it makes my stomach ache, like hurt, pain. I am on pain meds, so I'm sure I can handle it. But, should I do it? Shouldn't I do it? If my iron levels drop too low, I absolutely have to do it. But what I'm hoping for with either high dose vitamin C or a mixture of vitamin C and some other vitamins and calcium and magnesium and zinc is that I can get some strength back into my system. Right now, I'm not losing weight. So I seem to have leveled out. Now, according to their scale, I'm 107. According to my scale, I'm 103. So there's a 4-pound difference. Whose is more accurate? Mine's a brand new scale. I don't know. Either way, I'm holding steady. Like I have not lost. I maybe went down a pound and up a pound over the last week, but I'm not losing weight. Like it'll go up and down a pound. And it's not like I was losing a pound a day for over a month and a half. So it seems to have stabilized. I'm hoping it stays stable. What happened last time during the first round of chemo, though, is I was fairly stable on my weight. And then once the prednisone and everything wears off, then my weight drops again. But I am forcing myself to eat right now, like forcing myself. And so here's the thing with eating. Most of you, and this was true for me too, when I did not have cancer, it took me all of 30 minutes to cook a meal, eat a meal, and I'm done. Every time I have to eat, which right now is anywhere between 3 and 5 times a day, it's an hour and a half ordeal. Not because I'm cooking. My dad's doing most of the cooking unless I'm getting something from like the prepared aisle at the store or I'm eating fruit or something like that. But my dad's doing most of the cooking because I'm just not strong enough to cook and stand at the stove. And my brain's not clear enough. I don't want to catch the house on fire. So he is cooking for me. But my taste palette is funky. Like I can eat something and then 2 hours later, I cannot eat it again. Like it just makes me nauseous. And so he'll cook, I'll sit down, I'll eat. That takes me about 40 minutes just to get what is probably half of the meal size or a quarter of the meal size for a normal person to get it into my system because I'm so nauseous. And then I have to wait a good hour afterwards somewhere in the house near the bathroom because it takes about 20 minutes and then I'm in the bathroom off and on for an hour because my stomach from the chemo is that messed up. And so like every time I have to eat, I know I have to set aside an hour and a half, like no activities planned. Don't eat if you can't give it an hour and a half. If I have to be on a call, I just can't eat before the call. If I have to go to the doctor's office, I can't eat before I go to the doctor's office. If I have to go anywhere or do anything right now, it can't be done. Like food can't be had because I can't, like I can predict that my stomach is going to have a fit about the food. I just don't know for how long. Right. So like every time, and it's such an ordeal. I'm like, Dad, do you know how much for granted I took just eating and getting moving? Like grab something to eat, go back to work, grab something to eat, go run errands, grab something to eat, go hang out with my friends or the kids or whatever. Like now it's a whole freaking schedule of having to plan. So like I have to look at my schedule and check it hourly. Can I eat right now? Like my dad will be like, you have to eat. He keeps on top of me because I will not eat. Like I wouldn't eat if it wasn't for him constantly coming and telling me you have to eat something. It's been 4 hours. It's been 6 hours. He's like, my dad's forcing me. So I am doing my best, and that's helped a lot. But it's just getting with the groove of the schedule of understanding that this is not like normal times. Like you don't just get to eat and run. You don't get to eat and go do something else. You have to actually plan your day around this stuff. And that's why like I've put so many posts on Facebook too. Like there's so many things I've taken for granted in my life that I think we all do that you just have no idea. You take for granted that you're always going to be able to eat whatever, that you're going to be able to go to the bathroom on your own, no big deal, whether it's through your bladder or your colon. And when you lose those things, it's like, holy crap, what I would give to get it back. So now I have function back. The stent's not there anymore. My colon's working, but it's still like not normal, right? What I will give. Like I cannot wait until I'm out of chemo, I'm in remission, and my body is just back to normal functioning, right? Where I don't have to worry about sitting around for an hour and a half just to plan a meal, only to know that I got to repeat this in 3 hours or 4 hours, right? Like all day long. And sometimes I can't eat like at dinner time when my dad normally wants me to eat. This is like 5:00, 5:30. Sometimes I can't eat dinner until like 9:00 at night. And then I'm the one that has to either he'll make something and give me some choices. Right now, everything light. Like my body's not handling salad very well, even though I did have a salad earlier. My stomach was not happy with it, but more like fruits and like quinoa. He made some fried rice, which was really good. I did have that. Nothing super hot right now, so he'll make some things and then give me some choices. But like when I eat at 9:00 at night, 9:30 at night, and part of that's the blood sugar weirdness. Then I just got to sit. I sit on the back porch. I spend a lot of time on the back porch with my dogs, which they appreciate because I'm not in the house and they usually sleep with me. Just hanging out, waiting for the bathroom call. And then once it's finally over, then I can finally come in and go back to sleep or rest or whatever. But yeah, this is the real part of the journey. Like unless you're walking with someone or you've been through it, you don't know. Like, and it's different for everybody. Like my symptoms and what's happening for me may not happen for everybody. Right? Like I'm grateful because my friend Angela, who had stomach cancer, she told me every time she ate, she would throw up and then she'd have to eat again to make up for it because she was, losing so much weight. But she had stomach cancer. I have not vomited but once through this. I felt really like I was close, but I've only vomited once. And I'm staying on top of all of my nausea and vomiting medication because that is like the worst thing to me. That's the worst. Like I do not want to throw up. Just I will probably not eat for an entire day or two if that happens. Thus the prednisone, right? It's supposed to help with nausea and vomiting, but I can't say what other people go through. I just know my oncologist and everything I've read said chemo affects everybody differently. Cancer affects everybody differently. And there's so many different types of cancers, right? So it kind of depends on what treatment you're getting, what kind of chemo, because there's several different types of chemo drugs, what the side effects are and how your body's handling it. I do know now, no biting into ice and hard candy because my teeth enamel is probably super weak from the chemo and the prednisone. Lesson learned. And thankfully, I have a dentist if I need one, if it happens again. I hope that it won't. But if it does, and I need, I have an emergency need, I know that I can get to the dentist. So that's it. That's the update. I'm okay. I made it through the worst part and I have a little bit of a break. I am going to see. I'll let you guys know if I do get the vitamin C injection or vitamin IV, whatever, how different that makes me feel. And then also how the approach to the next round of chemo. I have to get it done, I think, within the next 5 days to be in the window that my oncologist wants me in. There's a very specific time frame I'm allowed to do these things, the complimentary things. She did approve it, but she said there's a time frame. You fall in that time frame, we're good. Do not mess with it during the chemo time frame. Not allowed to mess with it because it'll interfere with the chemo. So I do want to up my immune system though, because what I went through with the prednisone crash on Monday just tells me everything I need to know, that my immune system's hurting right now, like in a big, big way. And because my daughter had some sort of bug and now has a respiratory infection, and I know a lot of people are getting sick right now, I just think it's probably the smart thing to do. So yeah. You're welcome. Thank you for everybody for watching. Rox, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And Kim, thank you. All of you. Andy. I'm just reading the list of names that are on my chat. Deborah Lyman. Like, thank you. Thank you for all the prayers. You have no idea. I can feel them. Like, I can tell the difference. And like I said, through all of this, as hard as this journey is, there are so many blessings. And God has his hand on me. And I don't know how you would do it without that. I just don't, and I'm not religious. I believe in God and have a relationship with God. That has nothing to do with religion. I just know that the big guy is watching out for me, and he's not a big guy in the sky. It's an energy force. I can teach you all kinds of stuff about that, but you guys know what I mean. Thank you, Jeff Poinier, for the prayers. I appreciate it. So until next time, I'll let you guys know what's up. But until next time, I hope you are blessed. I hope that this is helping somebody that's either supporting someone through cancer, going through it, or any kind of challenge, that you get inspired. Share your story. Be honest with the people in your life. And then count your blessings, because they're there. May not feel it sometimes like on a Monday, but they are there. And if we just write it out through the hard times, we get to the days that aren't so hard. Today's not so hard. Today's been a blessing. Even though it's been full, it's been a blessing. And I made it through the hardest, darkest part. So day 2, or round 2 in the books, on to round 3 in a couple of weeks. I'll see you guys later.